The big building of the Galactic Union stood tall against the morning sky of New Seoul. Inside this building, Captain Tay stood straight in front of Admiral Kim. Captain Tay's face showed no emotion, but inside, he felt troubled. "Do you understand how important this mission is, Captain?" Admiral Kim asked in a calm voice. His words did not show the worry that had spread through the Union leaders in recent weeks. "Yes, Admiral. We must capture the human," Captain Tay replied. Admiral Kim nodded and pushed a glowing file across the black table. "His name is Master Song. He is a monk from Old Earth. For 3 years he has been living on the forbidden moon called Pyong. Our reports say he has knowledge that could destroy the entire Galactic Union." Captain Tay looked through the small file. There was not much information, just unclear pictures of a thin human male in simple clothes. In the pictures, the man tended to a small garden outside a plain stone house. "This monk does not look dangerous," Captain Tay said. The Admiral's eyes narrowed. "The most dangerous people often do not look dangerous, Captain. Remember what happened at Hainham Station? 300 people died. No weapons were fired. Just a human who knew too much about how the universe works. And you think this monk has the same powers? We think he has stronger powers. That is why I am sending you with 9 of our best soldiers, the Seong unit." Captain Tay could not hide his surprise. The Seong unit was normally sent to fight wars between planets, not to capture one human. "Admiral, with respect, is that too much for the last scout we sent has not spoken a word since he came back." Admiral Kim cut in. "His brain scans show he has severe mental trauma, all from just watching the monk from space." Captain Tay swallowed hard. "I understand. Bring him back alive if you can, but if not..." The Admiral's eyes got harder. "The safety of the Union comes first." As Captain Tay left the meeting room, he felt something strange creeping up his back. He had led the Seong unit through the brutal Orion War and crushed the Centauri uprising without hesitation. Yet something about this mission made him deeply uneasy. He would never say it out loud, but for the first time in his long career, Captain Tay felt afraid. Back in the preparation room, Captain Tay briefed his team. The 9 soldiers of the Seong unit listened carefully. "Our target is a human monk living alone on the moon Pyong," Captain Tay explained. "This sounds simple, but High Command considers him extremely dangerous." "What can one human do against 10 of us?" asked Sergeant Han, a tall soldier with a scar across his jaw. Captain Tay activated a screen showing the monk's house. "This human may have powers we do not understand. Our last scout returned with severe mental trauma after only observing from orbit." The soldiers exchanged looks. They were the best fighters in the Galactic Union. Each had been enhanced with the latest technology and trained for years. They had fought in wars across the galaxy. But this mission felt different. "What exactly are we protecting the Union from?" asked Corporal Su, the team's technology expert. Captain Tay shook his head. "That information is classified. We only need to know that Admiral Kim himself has marked this mission as top priority." Lieutenant Jun, the team's pilot, studied the map of the landing area. "The atmosphere is breathable, but strange chemicals have been detected. We should wear full-sealed suits." "Agreed," said Captain Tay. "We will land 2 kilometers from the target and approach on foot. Standard formation." Private Jin, the youngest member of the unit, raised his hand. "Sir, what if the monk surrenders peacefully?" "Then we bring him back peacefully," Captain Tay replied. "But be ready for anything. If he has the powers High Command fears, he may make us see things that are not real." The soldiers nodded, their faces serious. They had been trained to resist many forms of mental attack, but rumors of humans with unusual powers had spread throughout the Union for years. As the team prepared their equipment, Captain Tay went to a private room to review the mission details one more time. He opened a secure channel to Admiral Kim. "Admiral, I have a question about the mission," Captain Tay said. The Admiral's face appeared on the screen. "Speak quickly, Captain. Time is short." "What exactly does the monk know that threatens the Union? My team needs to understand what we're facing." Admiral Kim was silent for a moment. "The monk appears to have discovered something about the nature of reality itself. something that the Union has kept hidden for centuries. If this knowledge spreads, it could break the very foundations of our society. What knowledge? Captain Tay pressed. The true relationship between consciousness and the physical universe, Admiral Kim said quietly. The human mind has capabilities that we have deliberately suppressed. Master Song has somehow rediscovered these capabilities. Captain Tay felt a chill. You mean like the legends? The ancient humans who could move objects with their minds? See into the future? Those legends are simplified versions of the truth, Admiral Kim replied. The reality is far more disturbing. Reality itself can be manipulated by a properly trained consciousness. The Union was formed partly to prevent this knowledge from spreading. Captain Tay took a deep breath. So the monk is not just a threat to the Union's power. He's a threat to reality as we know it. Exactly, Admiral Kim said, which is why failure is not an option. Bring him in or eliminate him. Those are your orders. The call ended, leaving Captain Tay alone with this new information. He looked at his hands, thinking about what the Admiral had said. The true relationship between consciousness and the physical universe. What did that mean? Could one human really have such power? He rejoined his team as they boarded the transport ship. The Seong unit was ready, their weapons checked and their minds prepared for battle. But Captain Tay now understood why even the highest levels of the Union feared this simple monk. As the ship's engines fired up, Captain Tay gave the order to depart. The sleek black vessel rose into the sky, heading for the forbidden moon where Master Song waited. None of the soldiers spoke during the journey. Each was lost in their own thoughts, wondering what they would find on Pyong. Captain Tay watched, the stars through the viewport, thinking about the Admiral's words. Reality itself can be manipulated by a properly trained consciousness. If that was true, then the 10 soldiers of the Seong unit might not be enough. Not nearly enough. The black ship cut through the thick air of Pyong Moon. Its engines were almost silent, using special technology to hide from anyone who might be watching. Inside the ship, the 10 soldiers of the Seong unit were quiet as they checked their weapons and suits one last time. Captain Tay watched his team with careful eyes. These soldiers were the best in the Galactic Union. Each one had fought in many battles across the stars. But today they were hunting just one man, a monk from Earth named Master Song. 5 minutes until landing, Lieutenant June called from the pilot's seat. No signs of technology in the area, just natural life forms. Captain Tay nodded and stood up. The other soldiers looked at him, waiting for his words. Remember your training, he said. The target may not look dangerous, but Admiral Kim would not send all of us if he was a normal human. Keep your mind strong and your suit sealed at all times. Sergeant Han, the second in command, came closer to Captain Tay. Sir, the team is ready, but they are nervous. We have never hunted a target like this before. Tell them to think of it as any other mission, Captain Tay replied. We go in, we capture the target, we leave, simple. But Captain Tay knew it was not simple. The Admiral's words about reality and consciousness still bothered him. What could one monk do that scared the leaders of the Galactic Union so much? The ship landed softly in a clearing surrounded by tall, purple plants. When the doors opened, the strange light of Pyong filled the ship. The sky was a deep blue color with 2 small suns hanging low on the horizon. Helmets on. Air seals checked, Captain Tay ordered. One by one, the soldiers put on their black helmets. Green lights showed that each suit was properly sealed against the moon's air. They moved out of the ship in perfect order, their steps light and careful. Their black suits changed color slightly to match the purple and blue surroundings. To anyone watching, they would look like moving shadows. 2 kilometers to the target, Sergeant Han said, checking the map on his wrist screen. Straight ahead through that field of tall plants. Captain Tay led the way. The plants around them were as tall as a person, with wide leaves that seemed to turn toward the soldiers as they passed. The ground felt soft and springy under their boots. This place is strange, Private Lee said over the team radio. It feels like the plants are watching us. Focus on the mission, Captain Tay replied. Ignore everything else. They walked for 20 minutes in silence. The map showed they were halfway to the monk's house when Corporal Sue suddenly stopped. "Walking. Captain," she said in a strange voice. "Something is wrong with my suit sensors." Captain Tay turned to look at her. Corporal Sue was the team's technology expert. Her suit had extra sensors to detect energy and life forms. "What do you see?" he asked. "Everything," she whispered. "I can see everything." Before anyone could stop her, Corporal Sue reached up and removed her helmet. The other soldiers raised their weapons, but Captain Tay held up his hand to stop them. "Corporal, put your helmet back on now," he ordered. But Corporal Sue only smiled. Her eyes looked different, wider somehow, as if she was seeing things the others could not. "The air is safe," she said, "and he knows we are here. He has always known." "Who knows?" "The monk?" Sergeant Hahn asked. Sue nodded and turned to look at a hill to their right. "He is waiting for us. Not at his house, but there." She pointed to the top of the hill where a large round rock sat alone. Captain Tay felt cold despite his suit's temperature controls. This was not in their plans. The monk was supposed to be at his house, not waiting for them on some hill. "Restrain her," Captain Tay ordered. "She has breathed the air and it has affected her mind." Two soldiers moved toward Corporal Sue, but she stepped back, still smiling. "You don't understand yet," she said. "But you will. He will show you what he showed me." Then she turned and started walking toward the hill. "Stop her!" Captain Tay shouted. Private Jin and Private Park ran after Corporal Sue. They caught her easily and held her arms, but then something strange happened. The air around them seemed to ripple like water, and both soldiers froze in place. "Captain," Private Jin called, his voice shaking. "I can't move. Something is holding me." Captain Tay raised his weapon and pointed it at the hill. "Defensive positions, now." The remaining soldiers formed a circle, their weapons pointing outward. But there was no enemy to shoot at, only the strange plants and the purple landscape around them. "What is happening?" Lieutenant June asked, his usual calm voice now, tight with fear. Before Captain Tay could answer, Private Park removed his helmet too. His face showed the same peaceful smile as Corporal Sue. "The monk is not our enemy," Park said. "He wants to help us, to show us the truth." "The truth about what?" Sergeant Hahn demanded. "About everything," Park replied. "About the lies the Union has told us." Captain Tay had heard enough. "Everyone move toward the ship. This mission is compromised. We need to report back and get a larger team." But as he turned to lead the way back, Captain Tay saw something that made him stop. The path they had come through was gone. Where there had been a clear trail through the plants, there was now only a solid wall of tall purple stems. "That's impossible," he whispered. "We just came that way." "The monk is changing the landscape," Sergeant Hahn said, "or making us see it differently." Captain Tay tried to think clearly. His training had prepared him for many dangerous situations, but not for an enemy who could change reality itself. "New plan," he said. "We continue to the target, all of us together. No one removes their helmet no matter what they see or hear." As they moved toward the hill, more strange things began to happen. The twin suns in the sky seemed to change color, shifting from yellow to green and back again. The plants around them made soft singing sounds when the wind blew. Sergeant Hahn walked close to Captain Tay. "Sir, what if we can't trust what we see? How do we complete the mission?" "We trust each other," Captain Tay replied, "and we remember our duty to the Union." But as they reached the bottom of the hill, Captain Tay was not sure of anything anymore. 3 of his soldiers had removed their helmets now, and all 3 had the same peaceful smile. They walked ahead of the group, climbing the hill as if drawn by an invisible force. At the top of the hill, a figure sat on the round rock. Even from a distance, Captain Tay could see it was the monk from the pictures. Master Song wore simple robes and sat with his legs crossed, his hands resting on his knees. He seemed to be waiting patiently for them. "Weapons ready," Captain Tay ordered, but his voice lacked its usual strength. As they climbed the hill, the air around them continued to ripple and shift. Captain Tay felt as if he was walking through water, rather than air. Each step was harder than the last. When they finally reached the top, Master Song opened his eyes and looked at them. His gaze was calm and kind, not afraid or angry as Captain Tay had expected. "Welcome, soldiers of the Galactic Union," the monk said in a soft voice. "I have been waiting a long time for you to come." Captain Tay stood at the top of the hill, facing the monk who sat calmly on the round rock. Master Song was a thin man in simple brown robes. His face was peaceful, with no sign of fear or anger. Behind Captain Tay, 6 soldiers still had their helmets on, weapons ready. The other 3 soldiers who had removed their helmets stood to the side, looking calm and happy. "You know why we are here," Captain Tay said to the monk, keeping his weapon pointed at him. Master Song nodded slowly. "You were sent to capture me and take me back to the Galactic Union. They fear what I know." His voice was gentle but clear. It seemed to come from all around them, not just from his mouth. "Then you will come with us without fighting," Captain Tay said. It was not a question. The monk smiled. "I cannot do that, Captain Tay. My work here is not finished." Captain Tay was surprised that the monk knew his name. He had not told him who he was. "Your work? What work could be so important that the Union fears it?" Sergeant Han asked. "The truth," Master Song said simply. "The truth about what humans can do. About what all living beings can do, if they learn how." Captain Tay did not lower his weapon. "We have orders to take you by force if needed." "Force will not work here," the monk replied. "Nothing is as it seems on this moon. Even your weapons are not what you think they are." To prove his point, Master Song waved his hand gently. The weapons in the soldiers' hands suddenly felt hot. Several soldiers cried out and dropped their guns. When the weapons hit the ground, they changed into small purple flowers. Captain Tay still held his weapon, but it felt different now, lighter and softer. He looked down and saw that it was changing too, becoming something plant-like and alive. "What are you doing?" Captain Tay demanded. "How are you doing this?" "I am not doing anything to your weapons," Master Song said. "I am simply showing you their true nature. All things are connected. All things are one. The division between objects is just an idea we agree to believe." Private Jin, who still wore his helmet, suddenly fired his weapon at the monk, but the beam of energy curved away at the last moment, turning into a stream of small blue lights that flew up into the sky. "Your Union has hidden the truth for too long," Master Song continued. "They found Earth thousands of years ago and saw what humans could do with their minds. They feared us, so they took us into the Union but kept us weak and divided." Sergeant Han removed his helmet now. Unlike the others, his face did not show peace but confusion. "What truth? What can humans do?" Instead of answering with words, Master Song closed his eyes. The air around him began to glow softly. Then slowly he rose from the rock and floated a few feet above it. "This is just the beginning," the monk said. "Humans can change reality with their thoughts. We can heal with a touch. We can speak across any distance. We can see the past and possible futures." Captain Tay had been taught that such things were just stories, old myths from before humans joined the Galactic Union. But now he was seeing it with his own eyes. "The Union says such powers are dangerous," Captain Tay said, trying to keep his voice steady. "That they would lead to chaos." "Of course they say that," Master Song replied, gently floating back down to the rock, "because these powers would also mean freedom. If people knew they could change reality, why would they follow leaders who limit them? Why would they accept the rules of the Union?" Lieutenant June removed his helmet now too. "Is that why they sent us? Because you could teach others to do what you do?" "Yes," the monk said. "One person with these abilities is just a curiosity, but if all humans remembered their true powers, it would change everything." Captain Tay felt torn between his duty and his growing doubts. 4 of his soldiers still wore their helmets, but the rest had removed them and were listening to the monk with great interest. "Show us more," Sergeant Han said. "Prove that what you say is true." Master Song nodded and raised both hands. The air rippled again, but this time much more strongly. The purple landscape around them faded away. Suddenly they were no longer on the hill. They were standing in what looked like a large white room with no walls or ceiling. Stars and galaxies spun around them in all directions. It felt like they were floating in space, yet they could still breathe and stand normally. "This is a small taste of what reality truly is," Master Song said. His voice echoed strangely in this new place. "Your eyes usually show you what you expect to see, but with training you can see the true nature of the universe." Captain Tay felt dizzy. His training had not prepared him for this. "Is this real? Or are you just making us see things?" "What is the difference?" the monk asked. "Reality is shaped by thought. The Union knows this. That is why they control what people think so carefully." One of the remaining helmeted soldiers, Private Lee, suddenly made a sound of fear and tried to run. But there was nowhere to run to in this strange, star-filled space. He stumbled and fell, then curled into a ball on what seemed like solid nothing. "Take us back," Captain Tay ordered. "This is too much for some of my people." Master Song nodded and the starry space faded. They were back on the hill on Pyong with the purple plants around them and the twin suns in the sky. "Your minds are still trapped in the Union's way of thinking," the monk said. "It takes time to accept a new reality. That is why I live here alone, helping those who find me one by one." "And those who found you before us?" Captain Tay asked. "What happened to them?" "They made their choices, just as you will make yours," Master Song replied. "Some stayed to learn. Others returned to spread what they had seen. A few could not accept the truth and tried to fight against it." Captain Tay looked at his team. Only 3 soldiers still wore their helmets now. The others stood with expressions ranging from wonder to confusion. None of them seemed ready to capture the monk anymore. "The Union told us you were dangerous," Captain Tay said, "that you threatened everything they built." "And was that a lie?" Master Song asked with a small smile. "I do threaten what they built because they built it on lies. I offer truth instead." Captain Tay removed his helmet finally. The air of Pyong felt cool on his face. It smelled sweet, like flowers after rain. "What happens now?" he asked the monk. "Now you must each decide," Master Song said. "Stay and learn what I can teach you, or return to the Union with your report. I will not stop any of you from leaving." As Captain Tay breathed the air of Pyong, he felt something change inside him. The universe suddenly seemed bigger, full of new possibilities. He looked at his soldiers and saw the same realization in their eyes. They had come to capture one monk. Instead, they had found something that might change the galaxy forever. Night fell on the moon of Pyong. The twin suns disappeared behind the hills and a soft blue light came from the plants around them. Master Song had invited the soldiers to his small stone house. Most of them had followed him down from the hill. Only Private Jin and Private Lee had refused, choosing to stay by the ship. Inside the house, Captain Tay and 6 of his soldiers sat on woven mats. The house was simple with just one room. There was a small cooking area, a sleeping mat, and a low table with some clay cups. Master Song poured hot tea into the cups. The tea was a deep purple color and smelled like fruits and flowers. "This will help your minds open to new ideas," the monk explained. "It is made from plants that grow only on this moon." Sergeant Han looked at his cup with doubt. "Is it safe?" "It will not harm you," Master Song said. "But it will show you more of the truth that can be hard to accept at first." Captain Tay picked up his cup but did not drink yet. "Before we go further, I need to understand something. If humans have these powers you talk about, why don't we know it? Why don't we feel it?" Master Song sat down on his mat and folded his legs. "When human children are born, they still remember the truth. They can sometimes see things adults cannot. They can feel the connections between all living things. But as they grow, they are taught to forget. The Union makes sure of that." "How?" Lieutenant June asked. "Through education, through food and medicine that dulls certain parts of the brain, through technology that keeps your minds busy with small things so you never look deeply at the big questions." Master Song looked at each soldier one by one. "The same is done to all species in the Union, not just humans." Captain Tay thought about his whole life in the Union, his schooling, his military training. the medicines he took each day to stay healthy. Could it all have been designed to keep him from knowing his true powers? Why would the Union go to so much trouble, he asked. Power, Master Song said simply. Those who rule the Union are not like you or me. They are very old beings who found a way to live for thousands of years. They discovered the power of consciousness long ago and keep it for themselves. Private Park, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. Can you prove any of this? It sounds like stories to scare children. Instead of answering, Master Song drank from his cup. Then he looked at Private Park with kind eyes. Drink the tea. Then, I will show you proof that even the most doubtful soldier cannot deny. One by one, the soldiers drank the purple tea. Captain Tay went last, watching his team carefully for any bad effects. But they seemed fine, just more relaxed than before. When Captain Tay finally drank his tea, he felt a warm feeling spread through his body. His mind felt clearer somehow, as if a fog had been lifted. Now, Master Song said, I will show you the truth about the Union and about yourselves. The monk closed his eyes and placed his hands palm up on his knees. The air in the small house began to glow softly, just as it had on the hill. Open your minds, Master Song said. Do not fight what you see? Suddenly Captain Tay was no longer in the small house. He was floating above a large room with a round table. Around the table sat Admiral Kim and several other high-ranking Union officials. But there were also strange beings that Captain Tay had never seen before. They had long, thin bodies and heads with no hair. Their skin was pale white, and their eyes were large and black. The humans on Pyong must be dealt with immediately, one of the strange beings was saying. The monk has gone too far. If his teachings spread, all our work of the past 1,000 years will be undone. Admiral Kim nodded. I have sent 10 of our best soldiers. If they fail, we will destroy the entire moon. Good, said another of the white beings. Remember, Admiral, your position and your extended life depend on your loyalty. Humans must never learn their true nature. The scene changed and Captain Tay now saw a large building that looked like a school. Inside, human children sat at desks. Each child wore a small device on their head. Teachers moved among them, checking the devices. The mind limiters are working. Well, a teacher said to another, this generation will be even less aware than their parents. They will never question the Union's rules. The scene changed again. Now Captain Tay saw a laboratory where scientists worked with strange machines. On tables lay sleeping humans with their heads connected to the machines. The memory wipe was successful, a scientist said. The subject no longer remembers seeing. The monk. We replaced those memories with fear of the moon Pyong. Captain Tay felt sick as more scenes flashed before him. He saw humans being given medicine that dulled their minds. He saw Union soldiers destroying books that contained old knowledge. He saw hidden cameras in homes and public places, watching for any sign that someone might be awakening to their true powers. Then the vision stopped and Captain Tay was back in the small house. The other soldiers looked as shocked as he felt. Corporal Sue was crying quietly. Sergeant Han's face was white with anger. Was that real? Lieutenant June asked in a shaking voice. Or did you create those images to trick us? I showed you what is happening now in the Union, Master Song said sadly. I did not create it. I only allowed you to see across space, which is one of the powers all humans have naturally. Captain Tay's hands were shaking. If this is true, then everything I believed in, everything I fought for was a lie. Not everything, Master Song said. Your desire to protect people, to serve something greater than yourself, those were not lies. The Union twisted those good desires to use you for their purposes. What can we do? Sergeant Han asked, his voice hard with anger. They will send more soldiers when we don't return. They might destroy this moon, as Admiral Kim said. Master Song nodded. That is why some of you must return. You must tell others what you have seen. Slowly, carefully. Find those who will listen. They will capture us and wipe our memories, Private Park said with fear in his voice. Not if you learn to protect your minds first, Master Song replied. That is what I can teach you. How to shield your thoughts and memories from their machines. How to see through their lies. how to use the powers that are your birthright. Captain Tay stood up and walked to the small window of the house. Outside, the purple plants glowed in the darkness. Somewhere out there, Private Jin and Private Lee were waiting by the ship, still loyal to the Union. "I have served the Union for 20 years, Captain Tay said quietly. "I believed I was protecting people. Now I learn I was helping to enslave them instead." He turned back to face Master Song. Teach us everything you know. Then I will return to the Union and find a way to wake others up." The monk smiled, and for a moment Captain Tay thought he saw light shining from within him, as if Master Song was made of pure energy, only partly contained in human form. "That is why I came to this moon," Master Song said. "I was waiting for warriors brave enough to face the truth and fight for real freedom." Outside the house, the night sky of Pyong filled with stars. Among those stars was the Union, vast and powerful, built on thousands of years of lies. But now, in this small, stone house, a seed of change had been planted, and it was beginning to grow. 30 days passed on the moon of Pyong. For most of the soldiers, these days were filled with learning. Master Song taught them how to use their minds to see distant places, to move small objects without touching them, and to protect their thoughts from outside control. But not all the soldiers chose to stay and learn. Private Jin remained loyal to the Union. He refused to listen to Master Song and spent most of his time by the ship, waiting to return home. Private Lee had tried to understand the monk's teachings for a few days, but became too afraid and joined Jin by the ship. On the morning of the 30th day, Captain Tay gathered with Master Song and the 7 soldiers who had chosen to follow the monk's path. They stood in a circle outside the stone house as the twin suns rose above the purple fields. "It is time," Master Song said. "You have learned enough to begin your work. But you must be careful. The Union will sense the change in you if you reveal too much at once." Captain Tay nodded. "We have our plan. Jin, Lee, and I will return with the ship. I will report that the rest of the team was lost during the mission. The Union will believe that because they already fear this moon." "What about us who stay?" Sergeant Han asked. His face had changed during their time on Pyong. He looked younger somehow, more alive. "You will continue your training," Master Song replied. "In 1 year, if all goes well, small ships will begin to arrive. People sent by Captain Tay, people ready to learn the truth." Lieutenant Jun looked worried. "But the Admiral said they might destroy this moon if we fail." "They will not," Master Song said with a gentle smile. "Because Captain Tay will not fail. He will give them what they expect. A frightened soldier with stories of strange powers and lost companions." Captain Tay had thought carefully about his role. "The Union expects fear. I will give them fear. I will tell them that your powers drove my men mad, that some killed themselves and others simply disappeared. They will believe it because it fits what they already think about humans with awakened minds. And while they focus on their fear of Master Song, we will be spreading the truth quietly," Corporal Sue added. She had become one of the most skilled students, able to send her thoughts over great distances. "Yes," Captain Tay agreed. "Each of us who returns will find 5 trusted people. We will teach them what we have learned. They will each find 5 more. Slowly, carefully, the knowledge will spread." Master Song placed his hand on Captain Tay's shoulder. "Remember, the Union has ruled for thousands of years. We cannot defeat them quickly. This will take time and patience." "And if they discover us?" Private Park asked. "Then others will continue," Master Song said simply. "The truth cannot be stopped. Once it begins to spread. That is why the Union fears it so much." The time for goodbyes had come. The 7 soldiers who would stay embraced Captain Tay. They had become more than comrades during their time on Pyong. They had become something like a family, united by the secret knowledge they now shared. "We will see each other again," Sergeant Han said as he hugged Captain Tay. "In this life or beyond it," Captain Tay replied. "The Union cannot separate us, now that we know the truth." Captain Tay walked alone to the ship where Private Jin and Private Lee waited. Both looked nervous and tired. They had refused to eat the food or drink the water from Pyong, surviving only on their emergency rations. "Are we finally leaving this cursed place?" Private Jin asked when he saw Captain Tae approaching. "Yes," Captain Tae replied, keeping his face serious. "It is time to report back to Admiral Kim." "What about the others?" Private Lee asked, looking behind Captain Tae as if expecting to see the rest of the team. "They are gone," Captain Tae said, letting his voice break slightly. "The monk did something to their minds. I tried to save them, but I could not." Private Jin's eyes widened with fear. "Did you capture the monk at least?" "No," Captain Tae said. "His powers were too strong. We barely escaped with our lives." This was the story they had agreed upon. A partial truth that the Union would believe because it matched their fears. They would not guess that most of the team had stayed willingly to learn from Master Song. The 3 soldiers boarded the ship. Private Lee took the pilot's seat with shaking hands. As the engines started, Captain Tae looked out the window at the purple landscape of Pyong. Somewhere out there, Master Song and the others were watching. He could almost feel their minds touching his, a silent goodbye. The ship rose into the sky and left the atmosphere of Pyong. The journey back to Union space took 5 days. During this time, Captain Tae was careful to act traumatized and afraid. He spoke little and jumped at small noises. Private Jin and Private Lee were genuinely scared, so they did not notice that Captain Tae was acting. When they finally reached the main Union station, Admiral Kim was waiting for them. His face was hard as he watched the 3 soldiers exit the ship. "Captain Tae," the Admiral said, "where is the rest of your team? Where is the monk?" Captain Tae stood at attention, but let his hands shake visibly. "Sir, the mission failed. The monk has powers we could not fight against. 7 of our team are gone. Their minds were destroyed by what they saw." Admiral Kim's eyes narrowed. "Explain." For the next hour, Captain Tae told a story of horror and strange powers. He described how the monk could make them see things that were not there, how he could turn their weapons into flowers, how he could read their thoughts and control their actions, all things that had happened but twisted to sound like attacks rather than teachings. "And the monk himself?" Admiral Kim asked. "Why did you not eliminate him as ordered?" "We tried, sir," Captain Tae replied, "but our weapons had no effect. It was as if he was not truly there." The Admiral looked at Private Jin and Private Lee. Both nodded with fear in their eyes, confirming Captain Tae's story. "You will all be placed in medical isolation," Admiral Kim said. "Your minds must be examined for any lingering effects." Captain Tae had expected this. "Yes, sir, we understand." As they were led away to the medical bay, Captain Tae felt a small smile trying to form on his lips. He forced it away. The Union would search his mind, but Master Song had taught him how to hide his true thoughts behind a wall of fear and confusion. They would find only what Captain Tae wanted them to find. In the medical bay, doctors connected Private Jin to machines that would scan his brain. The private was too afraid to resist. Next would be Private Lee and then Captain Tae. But while the doctors worked, Captain Tae noticed a young medical assistant watching him with curious eyes. When their gazes met, the assistant quickly looked away. But not before Captain Tae saw something in her eyes, a brief flash of recognition. She knew, somehow she knew about the truth. Captain Tae kept his face neutral, but inside he felt a spark of hope. Perhaps Master Song was right. Perhaps the truth was already spreading, person by person, mind by mind. Perhaps this young assistant would be the first of his 5 trusted people. As he waited for his turn with the machines, Captain Tae looked out the window at the stars. Somewhere out there was Pyong, with its purple plants and strange powers. Somewhere out there, a small group of soldiers was learning to change reality with their thoughts. And someday, if their plan worked, humans would remember who they truly were. The long rule of the Union would end not with weapons, but with awakening. It had begun.